Welcome to our deep dive, I guess you could say, into the world of football agents.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. We tend to think about the glitz and the glam of the big transfer deals,
The big money.
the big money and all that.
Right.
But what we're going to try to do today
Mhm.
is really take a deep dive into what it takes to actually succeed in this industry.
Especially in the future.
Yeah, and thinking about the future.
Yeah.
So we've got some amazing sources to kind of guide us along the way.
Yeah.
Real player contracts,
Real player contract.
FIFA regulations industry,
Uh-huh.
reports, even a handbook for technical directors.
Yes. Very interesting, right?
So we're really going to try to piece this all together and get a sense of what the future holds for successful football agents.
Yeah. And what it takes to be a successful football agent, because it's not as easy as it may seem.
Right.
It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of great information.
So where do we even begin to unpack this, this intricate world?
Well, I think one of the first things to do is kind of shatter a common misconception.
Okay.
A lot of people think that football agents are constantly hovering over their clients, managing every single detail.
Right.
But a report from the Football Observatory revealed that only a small fraction of agents, about 17%, are constantly babysitting their clients.
Okay, interesting. So it's not all about, hand-holding and being there for every single little detail.
Exactly. The role is evolving into something far more strategic.
So what are those skills then that are going to define the successful football agent of the future if it's not about being a constant babysitter?
Well, it's all about building a robust network.
Okay.
Cultivating strong relationships with sporting directors, managers, even other agents.
Right.
These connections are essential.
I mean, it sounds like it's really like building a team around your client to ensure their success.
Exactly. You need to have a village to support your
Yeah.
client.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of building a more structured and official framework, the FIFA Agents Chamber is stepping up their game.
Okay.
The Football Tribunal report highlighted their commitment to more robust dispute resolution.
Okay.
So this signals a shift towards a more regulated and professional future.
So things are becoming more transparent and accountable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Which is always a good thing.
Good for everyone, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Players and agents alike.
But let's turn our attention now to something that's been making headlines, I think, lately.
Okay.
And that's this intense competition to sign young talent.
Yes.
I mean, prepare to be amazed. A report from the Football Observatory revealed that 50%
50%.
of all players in top leagues are represented by a mere 83 agents.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, that really just paints a picture of how competitive
Yes.
this landscape is.
Very competitive,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to securing the best young players.
Yeah, and you look at the success stories of agencies like Justified and Wasserman Media Group.
Yes.
They've generated billions in transfer fees by representing top young talent.
That's right.
And so it just underscores how much potential reward there is out there.
But you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because there's also a complex legal landscape to navigate.
Yeah, so it's not just about signing a young player and then hoping for the best.
That's right.
You have to really nurture that entire career path.
You have to understand the regulations surrounding minor players.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to international transfers,
Right.
post-registrations.
Okay.
Even things like training compensation
Yeah.
and solidarity contributions.
And I'm looking at a visual here from a list of the top agencies, and it's fascinating to see that training compensation makes up 52.6%,
Wow.
which is more than 5 times the amount for solidarity contribution.
Yes, that's a huge difference.
So it just highlights how much is invested in developing young talent.
Absolutely. It's a huge investment.
Yeah, but beyond the legal and the financial aspects,
Right.
there's another layer to this that's becoming even more critical, I think,
And what's that?
and that's the role of technology.
Technology, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. We hear about the Electronic Player Passport, or EPP,
Yes, the EPP.
and it sounds like a game changer in terms of transparency and efficiency.
It really is. It streamlines the entire player registration process
Okay.
by consolidating all the essential information.
Okay, so it's all in one place
Exactly.
and easy to access.
Easy to access.
Okay.
So it makes the transfer process much smoother.
I mean, and then there's the transfer matching system, or TMS.
Yes,
That's-
TMS.
And it sounds like that's kind of the watchdog to ensure compliance,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to international transfers and those regulations for minor players.
Right. It monitors all transfers to make sure they comply with FIFA regulations.
So it keeps everybody honest.
That's the goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for a truly forward-thinking agent, technology is more than just a compliance tool, right?
Right.
It's a secret weapon.
It is a secret weapon.
Yeah.
You can use data to scout more effectively,
Okay.
track player performance with incredible detail, and even manage client relationships more strategically.
It's like Moneyball meets football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The potential for using data to identify hidden gems and tailor player development is incredible.
It's really exciting.
It is.
But at the end of the day, it's still a people business, right?
You can't forget the human element.
Yeah.
Technology is a tool,
Yeah.
but it's only as good as the person wielding it.
Right, and that brings us to the final and perhaps most important piece of the puzzle.
What's that?
Building long-term value for clients.
Yes. Very important.
So it's not just about negotiating the biggest contract.
That's right.
It's about building a sustainable career.
Absolutely. The top agents, the ones who truly stand out, are the ones who go above and beyond simply closing deals.
Okay.
They understand that their clients are investments,
Yeah.
and they treat them accordingly.
So what are some of the things that they do?
Well, they provide financial advice,
Okay.
help with relocation housing,
Right.
and even offer guidance on brand management
Wow.
and media relations.
So they're really like architects of their clients' careers.
They are shaping the future of their clients.
Wow.
It's a big responsibility,
It is.
but it's also very rewarding.
Yeah, and there's one key relationship I think that often gets overlooked
And what's that?
in this whole equation.
Okay.
And that's the technical director.
Ah, yes. The TD.
That handbook that we mentioned really emphasized the importance of agents understanding the TD's role
Right.
and forging that strong working relationship with them.
Yes. You have to be able to work with the TD.
Yeah, because ultimately they're the ones shaping the future of the club
That's right.
and the opportunities for the agent's clients.
Exactly.
And so it's about building those bridges.
Yes. Build bridges, not walls.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
And recognizing that everybody has a role to play in a player's development and ultimate success.
Absolutely.
Wow. So this has been fascinating.
Yeah, a lot of information.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground in a very short amount of time.
We have.
I think it's good for us to just kind of pause for a second and recap what we've learned.
Okay. A good idea.
Yeah. So what stands out to you so far? What are you finding most insightful as we're going through this?
Well, I think for me, the thing that stands out the most is the sheer intensity of the competition for young talent.
Yeah,
It's a jungle out there.
it is.
And it really highlights how crucial it is for agents to be at the top of their game
Yeah.
when it comes to spotting and nurturing talent.
Yeah, it's not just about finding the next Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Right? It's about understanding their unique needs and helping them navigate this really complex globalized football industry.
Absolutely. And for me, it's the convergence of technology and the human element.
Yeah.
The agents who will thrive in the future are the ones who can leverage the power of data
Right.
while still understanding the nuances of human relationships.
It's that balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to be a master strategist, a skilled negotiator, and above all, a compassionate advocate for your clients.
So as you continue to kind of explore these sources,
Okay.
I want you to consider this. With technology becoming so increasingly integrated into football, how will the role of the agent continue to evolve? What new skills will be essential for success in this data-driven future?
Those are some great questions.
Yeah, and ones that we'll be sure to delve into further in the next part of our deep dive.
Right. We have a lot more to discuss.
Yeah, so stay tuned because we're just getting started.
We're just getting warmed up.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the future of football agents. Before we jump back into the world of contracts and technology and all things agents, I wanted to touch on something you mentioned earlier, the human element.
Yes. It's easy to get caught up in the data and the regulations, but at the end of the day, this is an industry built on relationships.
Exactly. And those relationships are reflected in the contracts themselves, right?
That's right.
I mean, we've been looking at some real player contracts as part of our research, and I'm amazed by the level of detail and complexity involved.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
These contracts go far beyond just salaries and transfer fees. We're seeing clauses outlining everything from medical care, including mental health provisions, to very specific disciplinary procedures.
Wow.
It's clear that clubs are investing in the well-being of their players.
So it's not just about protecting a player's physical health,
Right.
but also their mental and emotional well-being.
Absolutely, it's a holistic approach.
That's a huge step forward.
It is, and it speaks to the evolving role of the agent. They need to be attuned to their clients' needs on multiple levels
Right.
and ensure those needs are addressed in these complex legal documents.
It's like the agent is becoming a guardian of sorts, looking out for their client's best interests in every aspect of their career.
Precisely, and those interests extend beyond just well-being. These contracts also address performance incentives, relocation expenses, even the market value of a player in case of a breach of contract.
A lot to keep track of.
It is a delicate balancing act
Yeah.
between protecting the player and ensuring a fair agreement for all parties involved.
I'm starting to see why agents need a law degree just to navigate these contracts.
You might be right about that.
Yeah. But seriously, it's fascinating how these documents reflect the changing dynamics of the football industry. It's not just about the money. It's about fostering a more holistic and supportive environment for players to thrive.
I completely agree. And speaking of fostering a supportive environment, that handbook for technical directors we mentioned really highlighted the importance of communication and collaboration between agents, players, and the technical staff.
Yeah.
It's like a carefully choreographed dance where everyone needs to be in sync to create a harmonious and successful outcome.
So it's about building bridges, not walls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that everyone has a role to play in a player's development and success, and the agent is right at the center of that ecosystem, facilitating those connections and ensuring everyone is working towards a common goal.
It sounds like a very important role.
The agent acts as a conduit, a translator between the player's aspirations, the club's vision, and the technical team's expertise.
Yeah.
It's a role that requires diplomacy, strategic thinking, and a deep understanding of the football landscape.
It sounds challenging, but incredibly rewarding.
It is both of those things.
Yeah. And speaking of challenges, let's circle back to the competition for young talent. We've already established that it's a fierce battleground out there, with a select few agencies representing a significant chunk of the top players.
It's an incredibly competitive landscape, and that's why the ability to identify and nurture young talent is more critical than ever.
Yeah.
Remember those agencies we mentioned earlier, Just Fute and Wasserman Media Group?
Yeah.
They've achieved phenomenal success by recognizing the potential of young players and strategically guiding their careers.
It's not just about finding the next Messi or Ronaldo.
Right.
It's about recognizing the potential in a young player and cultivating their skills, their mindset, their brand.
Absolutely. It's about creating a long-term vision for their career.
Yeah, and that's where the ethical considerations we touched on earlier come into play. These young athletes are often vulnerable, and it's crucial that their agents act as protectors, shielding them from exploitation or undue pressure.
You're right. Agents need to be more than just negotiators. They need to be mentors and guardians, ensuring their clients' well-being is always the top priority.
And that's where those FIFA regulations surrounding minor players become so crucial.
Absolutely. They provide a framework for ethical conduct and ensure that these young athletes are being treated fairly and with respect. Remember those specific provisions regarding international transfers and first registrations for minors.
Yeah.
They're there to protect these young players and ensure their transitions are smooth and beneficial.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is, but it's all part of the job.
Yeah, it sounds like the role of the agent is evolving to encompass a much broader skill set, legal expertise, financial acumen, mentorship, even a bit of psychology.
You're catching on quickly. The modern football agent needs to be a multifaceted individual capable of navigating a complex web of relationships, regulations, and ever-evolving technologies. And speaking of technology, let's bring that back into the conversation.
Right, we were talking about the power of data and how it's transforming the way agents scout, manage, and market their clients. It's like the whole industry is on the cusp of a technological revelation.
It's an exciting time to be involved in football. Think about it. The electronic player passport and the transfer matching system are just the tip of the iceberg. We're already seeing AI-powered scouting tools that can analyze vast amounts of data to identify hidden gems and VR simulations that allow players to train in immersive game-like scenarios.
Whoa, that's next level.
Yeah.
Talk about a competitive edge. Agents who can harness these technologies will be able to offer their clients a level of service that was unimaginable just a few years ago.
Exactly, but here's the key point. Technology is just a tool. It's how you use it that makes all the difference. The agents who will truly thrive in this new landscape will be those who can seamlessly blend these technological advancements with their human skills, their intuition, their empathy, and their ability to build genuine, lasting relationships.
Because at the end of the day, football is a game of passion. And that's something that no algorithm can replicate.
Beautifully put, it's a combination of human insight and technological prowess that will define the successful football agent of the future.
This has been so insightful. I'm curious, as we're exploring these sources and discussing the future of the industry, what's been standing out to you? What's got you thinking?
That's a great question. I keep coming back to that statistic about how a relatively small number of agents represent a disproportionate share of top players.
Right.
It really underscores the competitiveness of this industry and the importance of standing out from the crowd.
Yeah, it highlights the need for agents to not only possess a diverse skill set, but also to cultivate a unique approach, a personal brand that sets them apart in a crowded marketplace.
Exactly. And you know what else is fascinating? That same report mentioned that over 20% of licensed agents actually choose to wait to operate in the market after obtaining their licenses.
That's intriguing. I wonder what drives that decision. Is it strategic, waiting for the right opportunity or the right client to come along? Or is it about building those essential networks and gaining experience before diving into the deep end?
It's a question worth pondering. It could be a combination of factors, a desire to refine their skills, to build a solid reputation, to identify a niche market where they can truly excel. It speaks to the strategic mindset that's becoming increasingly important for agents to succeed.
It's like they're playing the long game, carefully positioning themselves for success.
Exactly. And that long game involves recognizing that the football industry is becoming increasingly globalized. Agents need to be comfortable operating across borders, understanding different cultures, and navigating diverse legal and business landscapes.
Right. It's not just about speaking different languages. It's about understanding the nuances of different cultures, the unspoken rules, the etiquette that can make or break a deal.
You're absolutely right. Imagine negotiating a contract with a club in, say, Brazil or Japan.
Right.
You need to be sensitive to their customs, their values, their way of doing business. Cultural intelligence is becoming an essential asset for any agent with global aspirations.
That's like cultural awareness is the new currency in the football world.
I like that.
And I imagine technology can play a role in bridging those cultural divides, right?
Absolutely. We're seeing incredible advancements in translation apps, cross-cultural communication platforms, even virtual reality experiences that can immerse you in different cultures. These tools can be invaluable for agents who are operating in a globalized market.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We've gone from contracts and regulations to cultural intelligence and virtual reality in the span of a few minutes.
That's the beauty of this deep dive. We're exploring the multifaceted world of football agents from every angle, and believe it or not, we've got even more to uncover.
Well, luckily for our listeners, we've got one more part of this deep dive to go. So stay tuned, because we're about to delve even deeper into the ethical considerations, the impact of technology, and the future of this fascinating industry. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the future of football agents. It's amazing. We've covered so much ground already.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
From, the evolving role of the agent to the intense competition for young talent and the impact of technology.
The importance of cultural intelligence.
Yeah, and yet it feels like we're just scratching the surface.
I agree. There's always more to discover.
Yeah, especially in an industry as dynamic and ever-evolving as football.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up our deep dive, I think it's crucial to touch on one more aspect of this industry that's becoming increasingly prominent,
Okay.
the ethical landscape.
Right, with so much money and power and influence at stake, it's easy to see how those ethical lines could get blurred.
Exactly. And that's where the FIFA Code of Ethics is so important.
Okay,
It sets a clear standard of conduct for everyone involved,
so agents, players, club officials.
even FIFA representatives themselves.
Wow, so it's really comprehensive.
It covers everything from bribery and corruption to conflicts of interest.
So no backroom deals, no under-the-table payments?
Absolutely. Transparency and integrity are non-negotiable.
Yeah, it sounds like FIFA's really serious about cleaning up the industry.
The FIFA Code of Ethics is not just a set of rules, it's a framework for building a more ethical and sustainable football industry.
And it's not just about financial dealings, right?
Right.
Agents have a responsibility to protect their clients, especially young players, from, exploitation, abuse, or any situation that could compromise their well-being or their future.
You're absolutely right, and that's why those FIFA regulations regarding minor players are so crucial.
Yeah, we talked about those.
They provide specific guidelines for how agents should interact with and represent young athletes.
So it's about going beyond just being a negotiator or a deal maker.
Exactly.
You're really a mentor, a guardian, a protector.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and that really elevates the role of the agent to something much more profound than just negotiating contracts.
It does. It highlights the importance of ongoing education and professional development.
Oh,
Agents need to constantly be updating their knowledge of the latest regulations, ethical guidelines, and industry best practices.
because as we've seen, the landscape is constantly
Sure.
evolving.
It is what's considered acceptable practice today could be frowned upon tomorrow.
Right. So it's about staying ahead of the curve and making sure you're always operating with the highest ethical standards.
Absolutely.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, I think it's important to just take a moment to reflect on all the things that we've learned, we've explored, the evolving role of the agent, the intense competition, the impact of technology, the importance of cultural intelligence, and now these ethical considerations that are really shaping the future.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. And if we had to distill it all down to just one essential takeaway,
Okay.
what would it be? What's the one thing that our listeners should really walk away with from this deep dive?
For me, it's the shift from a transactional to a relational approach.
Go ahead.
The most successful agents in the future won't be the ones who simply close deals.
Right.
They'll be the ones who build genuine, lasting relationships with their clients, with clubs, with all the key stakeholders in the football ecosystem.
It's about building trust, fostering loyalty, operating with integrity.
Yep.
It's about recognizing that success isn't just measured in financial gains, but in the long term, well-being and fulfillment of your clients.
Well said. It's about seeing the bigger picture, recognizing the human element at the heart of this industry, and using your skills and influence to make a positive impact on the lives of the players you represent.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to thank you for joining us on this incredible journey.
It's been a pleasure.
I hope you've gained some valuable insights into this fascinating world of football agents and the exciting future that lies ahead.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring these sources and to really think about those key takeaways that we've discussed. The future of football is being shaped right now, and the role of the agent is more crucial than ever.
Yeah, so as you delve deeper into this fascinating world, we'll leave you with one final thought. What role will you play in shaping the future of football?
Without your face, my coach supreme, living in a digital dream, always near.